Hey, what's going on, guys? Kurosama here. So today we're taking a look at the Figurearts standard Kamen Rider 01 Rising Hopper. This is one of my favorite designs from Kamen Rider. It is amazing. I love just that bright fluorescent yellow, how it glows in the dark in the TV show. It's just beautiful. However, I have a dark secret, a deep secret I haven't really shared with the masses outside of people on Discord. But I don't really like the show 01. Now, I've only watched the show. I haven't watched the Realized movie, and I haven't really watched the spin-offs and everything, or even like The Outsiders. I know that has a lot of 01 influence in it. But I don't really care for the show. I don't like Aruto Hiden. I don't think he's that great of a character. He kind of just annoys me for the most part. He's just a little bit too innocent. That's why I love my Kamen Rider Geats. I love Kamen Rider Thighs. Those are like my shows. Usually a little bit more heavy on the drama, but I try and give 01 the benefit of doubt because of the fact that it was airing right when COVID was taking off. So you could definitely see in the middle of the season, the COVID just halted a lot of production. And it was like a lot of filler, and yeah, quality just like took a nosedive. So I try not to blame them too much. They did what they could. And overall, the show just may not be to my liking, but I think it's a fine enough show. Now, for the runners, you're going to be getting a bunch of runners, and essentially just going to be a bunch of solid colors, and you also be getting a stand, which is going to be amazing. Now, when it comes to surface level detail, this thing is packing some detail. I'm telling you guys, like, a lot of the armor is going to be fairly plain, like the shoulder pads and some of the chests and all that, but you got all that mesh in between on the black. That looks just phenomenal. And I think the driver detail is absolutely beautiful, pretty much rivals the SH Figurearts in my opinion. And then just a lot of the leg looks really good. Not gonna have a lot of panel line that you're gonna need to do on this kit, probably in just some areas here and there, but for the most part you really don't need to do any panel lining. Now, for the top of the neck as well as the bottom where the collarbone is, this is going to have just ball joints. So as you can see right there, just ball joints, still going to have great range of movement. So the shoulder is going to be just a little swivel right here, so that way it can pop out. And of course, ball joint once again for the shoulder. Shoulder armor can go up, rotation at the bicep, 2-point bend for the elbow. Now the wrist is just going to be on a peg, both inside the wrist and in the hand, but you see there's a little tiny bit of movement it can have. So not really too bad, and of course because it is on a peg, it can do a full 360. Now the torso and the waist are both on ball joints, so really good range of movement overall, no problems whatsoever. Hips can rotate down and are going to be once again on a ball and socket. Rotation at the upper thigh. 2-point bend at the knee. Peg for both inside the ankle as well as the foot. So yeah, you're going to get a really large range of movement. And of course there's going to be this little bit of movement right here in the middle. For hands, you'll be getting 2 fists, 2 expressive open hands, 2 pointing finger hands, a right pointing finger, but this one is actually going to be for the progress key. Another pointing finger hand, but this one is going to actually have a little pinky right there all pointing like he's fancy. And lastly, an accessory holding hand, which is going to be for the sword. Now, before we get into comparisons with the SH Figurearts 01, as well as just going over the details of like the painting and things I've done to it, I just want to show you the sticker sheet. Yes, this is a massive sticker sheet. It's a lot of things going on with this. But what I notice immediately is that a lot of it is in plain colors outside of, things for the driver right over here, which is fine. But you're just going to have a lot of fluorescent yellow. You're going to have black, which doesn't make any sense in most of the places that you would place them, because this is actually on some black armor. And then the red, I was like, okay, I could easily paint red. And I thought this was actually gray for a second, and I was like, oh, why am I painting gray? I thought it was silver, but it turns out it actually, all this is silver. So yeah, this is relatively easy, and the only stickers I did use was for the keys. I used the head one at first because I was like, I'm just gonna, use the stickers anyways. But then I was like, oh, I'm not gonna use the stickers anymore, and I just never took them off. And then the sword stuff. So anything for the sword and the keys, yeah, I basically just used those stickers. Now for the red, I did use a Chrysian paint. You can see the usage up in here on the driver, as well as little tiny small spots here on like the leg and arms. Doing the underside of the foot was probably the hardest though. Next is the Chrysian silver. This is pretty much the same exact silver that the rest of the kit uses for its plastic. So if you do want a pretty accurate silver, this one is definitely going to be your best bet. Now, if you can't find that, I was also using this marker for more of the larger parts. For the drivers where I actually did the hand painting, but yeah, when the large like streaks in the armor came into place, this is actually what I decided to use. Now, not much black was actually needed for this kit, but the parts I did use, I just went ahead and used a gunna marker because I'm actually just trying to get rid of as much of these gunna markers as possible through just usage. But man, they just have so much paint in them, so I've been having this for almost like 10 years at this point. Now for the fluorescent yellow parts, I just went ahead, put a base of a Chrysian yellow and hopes that this would not come out as green, because if I put the fluorescent green from Gaia Color on there first and just put like maybe 2 coats, it was coming out super green. So I had to scrub it and basically start off with yellow and then put the fluorescent yellow right on top, which still didn't come out that great. Now for accessories, you are going to get the caliber, which can actually fold up into its briefcase mode, but if you really want that longer weapon, you can simply just attach the longer blade and it snaps in just like so. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I did put the stickers on there because I really just did not feel like painting fluorescent yellow on black. There's going to be too many layers of using like a primer white, and I was done. By the time I finished this kit, I was like, I am good. I'm not going to be using this anyways, but I did paint in a very sloppy manner the silver here for the blade. Now for Progrise keys, you are going to get the Rising Hopper. And the back originally is having a little yellow sticker, but man, I did a horrible job trying to do fluorescent yellow just because it's on black, and I didn't do enough coats. So yeah, that looks pretty bad, but let's not take a look at the back. Yeah, the front, I just went ahead and applied the sticker, which looks fine enough. Now for the unfolded key, you can actually take this and just slide it simply into the holster on the belt. And you can also have it fitted right in the right hand, but man, this makes me really wish that they had a different one besides Rising Hopper that would have came with this, or just maybe an extra one, any one to be honest. And you also get the unfolded version, so yeah, you was definitely not getting one that would unfold naturally, but yeah, this is fun. You just get a separate accessory, and I, once again, painted horribly the fluorescent yellow on the back of it, but yeah, use the 2 stickers right here on the front. And you can use the open right hand to go ahead and fit the Progrise key in it, and kind of just replicate that it's sliding it right into the driver. And once fully inserted, you can see the Rising Hopper symbol right in the middle of the driver. Now before I forget, you actually are going to get this little stand right here. You can customize if you just want 2 little necks right here instead of the 3. But the 3 is good because if you want to have it in a flying rider kick pose, this is definitely going to accommodate it much better. But the 2 would be if you just want it standing up. So it's fine. It's super simple, but possibly it's better just to get an action base that has some of the extra, bells and whistles. Just basically bring out the action a little bit more. Here on the right, I have the SH Figurearts, and then on the left, I have the Figurearts Standard. These are 2 different types of figures or just toys that you are going to be looking at when it comes to collecting 01 merchandise. If you are the type of person that just wants an immediate product to put on your shelf, I'm probably going to tell you that the SH Figurearts is going to be the main one you're going to want because it's already painted. It usually comes with a pretty decent amount of accessories depending on which version that you get. It's close to the same price as a Figurearts Standard just because like they're so old at this point. Like the in Japan at least, they go on sale quite often, and you can find them in a secondhand market for like dirt cheap. I think I paid like 2,000 yen for mine, which is probably closer to like 12 bucks. So it's actually, this one was much cheaper, but it just did not come with as many accessories. But yeah, it looks good overall. Most of the paint application is there. It just usually lacks as many accessories as the Figurearts standard. Now, if you're the type of person that's like me, that already builds model kits and absolutely loves Kamen Rider, I think it's almost a no-brainer to just get the Figurearts standard because it looks great and it's a little bit taller than the SH Figurearts, just by a hair. It's not like significantly taller. You can see with them side by side, you're not really getting a massive jump in height. Let me raise this up just a bit. Yeah, so as you can see, it's not really a massive difference. So I do feel that if you are already in the ballpark of just like, I build model kits and I don't mind, and even if you are the kind of person that does not like stickers, I think this is pretty manageable in terms of stickers. Like a lot of them you're not going to use anyways. The red probably wouldn't really look too bad. I think maybe the driver's the only one that's going to not look that good, but for the most part, I think it's still going to be fine. It's very poseable. It still has, you know, a lot of things going on for it. I think the colors are great. It's still vibrant, still bright. So, yeah, it kind of boils down to your preference at this point. Do you want to not spend any time building? Go with this. If you don't mind building for, what, a day or two, however, whatever your difficulty levels are, or your skill set is, yeah, go with the Figurearts standard. I think that's a good alternative if you just cannot find this anywhere. And not to toot my own horn, but I don't think I did too bad with hand painting the driver. Not really my best work, but yeah, I think in comparison to the SH Figurearts, I did okay. Now, for my final thoughts, this is actually a lot easier for me than what I would do for like a Gundam, because Gundams, it's like there's a lot of variety out there. Like if you want an RX-78-2, oh my god, you are going to be fishing for a long time to find the exact one that you need, the exact one that's like perfect for your collection. When it comes to Kamen Rider though, you really have a very narrow avenue. You can either go vinyl, like the little vinyl stuffed toys, or, you know, little plastic toys. You can go whether it was the Kamen Rider Kicks or now it's called the action figure line. You can go with the SH Figurearts, and there's sometimes different, you know, varieties of SH Figurearts. Or you can go now with the Figurearts standard. And that's pretty much all you really have. There's kind of not much of an in-between unless you go like the Shoto route, but Shotos are like candy toys, and I wouldn't really say that's a substitute for something like SH Figurearts. But yeah, when I say you want that perfect representation of 01 or just a Kamen Rider, the Figurearts standard line is probably going to be your best bet unless you can find the SH Figurearts that are the more modern takes of them for relatively cheap. But if you go like the older route, like let's say you want a Gills, you know, like I personally wouldn't really want a Kamen Rider Gills because I have one and it's the most loose like figure I have, because that old Kamen Rider line of SH Figurearts were just not really that good. Proportions were pretty bad, accessories were meh, and yeah, it was just extremely loose. So I personally would just say go for this. Go for this right here. But if you can't find this, then the SH Figurearts is probably going to be your next best bet. Now I'm just going to say this is a cop it. But let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts? Were you anticipating this to be a really good, you know, model kit? Or are you going to be purchasing it in the near future? Let me know. But other than that, guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.